Well, in an escalation in the fight over congressional redistricting in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott wants the state Supreme Court to remove Houston Representative and Texas Democratic Caucus Chair Jean Wu. Abbott filed an emergency petition today that specifically targets Wu and only Wu. And
late tonight, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton added a filing saying only the AG can initiate proceedings and wants the court to hold off on the governor's petition until Friday. Abbott subsequently responded that he wants to go ahead with the petition, saying he has the right under a different part of the Texas Constitution.
Now, as for the Democrats, more than 50 remain in other states. In a statement tonight, Representative Wu said in part the governor is trying to silence his dissent. And he added he plans to serve his constituents and that his commitment to the people of Texas is unbreakable.
And today, Senator John Cornyn sent a letter to FBI Director Kash Patel encouraging the Bureau to take an appropriate step to aid Texas law enforcement to locate or arrest those Democrats who left. President Donald Trump was actually asked about the senator's suggestion at an event today. Take a listen.
Do you want the federal government and the FBI to help locate and arrest these Texas Democrats who have left the state?
Well, I think they've abandoned the state. Nobody's seen anything like it, even though they've done it twice before. And in a certain way, it almost looks like they've abandoned the state. It looks very bad. Yeah, go ahead, please.
Should the FBI get involved? Should the FBI get involved?
Well, they may have to. They may have to. No, I know they want them back. Not only the Attorney General, the governor wants them back. If you look, I mean, the governor of Texas is demanding they come back. So a lot of people are demanding they come back. You can't just sit it out. You have to go back. You have to fight it out. That's what elections are all about.
Senator Cornyn's primary opponent, AG Paxton, has planned to ask for a court ruling to declare their seats vacant on Friday, following the House Speaker's deadline for their return.
Well, new this evening, a Central Texas man is sharing his battle with West Nile virus. In recent weeks, there have been a few confirmed cases in Texas. This patient says the virus knocked him out for several weeks.
And experts warn of increased mosquito activity after an exceedingly rainy July. And as Sam Stark explains, several mosquito-borne diseases are present in the state, but West Nile virus is consistently the top concern for health authorities.
A few days after July 4th, Harley Tamplin started feeling unwell.
I started feeling just really tired, and I had some body aches, like I'd had a really tough workout, and I hadn't.
That was only the start. His symptoms kept getting worse.
I would wake up in the night just covered in sweat, which is really unlike me. It took me 3 doctors and 2.5 weeks to get a diagnosis, which was a little bit scary.
Finally, he figured it out.
Your screening indicates you have West Nile virus infection.
He was the first confirmed human case of the West Nile virus in 2025 in Hays County.
It's kind of a novelty at first, but the novelty obviously wears off pretty quickly when you're not well.
West Nile is still probably the most common, one of the most common serious infectious diseases that affects Texans over the summer and into the fall.
Dr. Peter Hotez, dean of the Baylor College of Medicine's National School of Tropical Medicine, said the number of cases didn't surge after the floods, but there is still significant activity in the state. The CDC reports there have been 140 confirmed cases in the U.S. so far in 2025, and 12 of those are in Texas. Dr. Hotez said those cases are only the tip of the iceberg.
Only about 1 in 5 actually has clinical symptoms, so there's probably a lot more West Nile than we're aware of.
Luckily, it can't be transmitted from human to human, something Tamplin was grateful for.
I have a baby girl who's about to turn 1, and thank God I was bitten and not her.
Sam Stark, KXAN News.
And Dr. Hotez said the virus is most dangerous to older adults and the immunocompromised. He said the Culex mosquito, which carries West Nile virus, often bites at dusk. So he said to make sure to protect yourself if you're outside during that time of day.
Volunteers in western Travis County discovered something pretty interesting during flood cleanup.
Potential dinosaur tracks. KXAN Eric Henderson visited the site along with scientists today.
A discovery amongst the cleanup.
A volunteer reached out to me and said, sent me a picture, so they'd found some dinosaur prints.
Travis County Judge Andy Brown said that these dinosaur footprints wouldn't have been found had it not been for the July 5th floods.
These, I think, are seen because so many trees got knocked down around it.
If there's any kind of flooding, any kind of heavy erosion, are events where we're going to be finding newly uncovered fossils.
Paleontologist Matthew Brown with UT Austin says discoveries like these tracks are common in Central Texas.
About 115 million years ago, there were several groups of animals that were walking around what was then a beach, and leaving footprints in the mud.
Among the footprints, several plant eaters and a single meat eater.
Acrocanthosaurus is a big meat-eating dinosaur, about 30 feet long. It would have looked sort of similar to a Tyrannosaurus rex, but a little bit more slender and longer in the body.
Tuesday, they collected photos of the footprints.
So now that we've had a look at them, we're going to go back and consult with our locality maps and see if these are, in fact, new track sites.
But while the scientists study, crews are still cleaning up the debris. An advisor will be on site to ensure that the tracks remain untouched.
When we get to the point where we're removing debris from that part of the creek, that we come in either from across the creek or use special equipment to where they're not having to drive over this part.
For Matthew Brown, these discoveries of tracks show that dinosaurs did more than just exist in museums.
Easy to forget when you're looking at a bone on a shelf that this was an animal that was walking around, that was interacting with other animals, that had its own life story.
In Travis County, Eric Hendrickson, KXAN News.
And the University of Texas says if you are volunteering and you find something like this, message their paleontology team. We have that information with this story over at KXAN.com. Well, this week, Texas lawmakers introduced bills aimed at replacing the STAAR test with 3 shorter tests. Though again, right now, legislation is basically halted at the Capitol. Still, House Bill 8 and Senate Bill 8 would make it so that students will take shorter tests at the beginning, middle, and end of the school year. That would be the last test would be the only one that would be mandatory. During the regular legislative session, both chambers agreed to replace the STAAR test, but couldn't find a middle ground on several things, including whether to keep a mandatory social studies test. If this change eventually gets the okay, the Texas Education Agency will have until the 2027-28 school year to make this new test.
Austin City Council will vote on its roughly $6 billion budget, and with that comes a decision on how much you'll pay in property taxes. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Jennifer Sanders.
I'm Daniel Marin. In the state of Texas, there's a cap on how much cities like Austin can take from taxpayers without triggering a tax rate election.
And as KXAN's Grace Reader explains, Austin is looking at going above that rate, and proposals for how much that would cost you are now out.
City Council members on Austin's Audit and Finance Committee officially recommended a tax rate election Tuesday.
Subject to the decision of the council regarding the actual conduct of the TRE and any amount.
All that means for you is when City Council meets next week to vote on its budget and property tax rate, they're very likely going to set a rate that, because of state law, will require Austinites to vote on it in November. The only City Council member who said he's against that idea so far, this one, Mark Duchin.
The problem is we've got to think long term about how much people can really afford here in Austin. And that's one reason that I'm very wary of that TRE process.
Let's back up a little bit to what's in the city manager's proposed budget. That base budget would not trigger an election, but would still raise the average ratepayer and homeowner's bill by roughly $218. So how much more could they ask for on top of that in an election? There are several proposals on the table right now, and they range from asking the average homeowner for $138 to $267 more. Or remember, that's on top of the $218 already in the budget. What will you get for it? Priorities council members have laid out include funding for homelessness, EMS, and parks maintenance.
Too many folks are counting on us, to do right and to make sure that their quality of life doesn't dip in any manner.
Grace Reader, KXAN News.
And the City Council budget discussion and votes will take place next week. They have Wednesday through Friday blocked off for that. We will be there and let you know what happens.